All right, so we are here in Revit, using Revit. We're going to model uh, the concession stand for the 30-acre recreation site here in Monticello. And I have pulled and am borrowing a concession stand plan from a company called Romtec out of Roseburg, Oregon, that we're going to use just to practice our modeling skills and learn a little bit here about how to utilize Revit. Now, we're not going to go into a lot of the full detail. We're just going to kind of do a simple model here just to kind of dip our toes into Revit a little bit and see what it looks like and what you've got there to begin with. But understand and know that we're just basically scratching the surface with what we are doing in this tutorial video. So start out with, I'm going to go to a new, and I'm going to create a new model file. Now notice we get lots of different templates that come up on here. The one that we want to be using is the Imperial Architectural template. All of these templates open lots of other stuff. So if you start with construction, you're really going to have way too much going on in your browser window. So let's just start with the easiest template at the moment, which is the architectural template. And this is going to be a new project, so I'll go ahead and click OK. Wait for everything to come up here. It will take just a few minutes, or a few seconds, I should say. I hope it doesn't take a few minutes, then we're going to be waiting for a while. All right, so notice as we get into this here, of course, we've got our drawing area that's right here. That's pretty much typical setup for Autodesk products, where you have a whole list of panels with all of your tools in up at the top. And you got this is similar to Inventor here, where you've got like a browser window and some properties menus over here. You're going to want to keep those open so you can close those to make your drawing area larger. But to be honest with you, we're going to want to see what's going on and what we're using down here. So you're going to want to keep these open and not close those out. Now, the first thing I'm going to do as you go through and look, so if you just kind of do some exploration, you can kind of uh, click on some of these panels and see that some of the different tools. The main tool here that we're going to really be using is the architecture panel. That's where most of our drawing features are. So notice we've got wall, door, window, components, columns, roofs. And we're going to start today just by drawing a wall. So I'm going to make sure I'm going to be in my floor plan here. I'm at level 1 of my floor plan. Now you'll see down here as we're looking on the left hand side in our browser, you'll see it says floor plan. There's level 1, there's level 2 site, then you've got ceiling plans, you got elevations, which are your east, north, south, and west. And you've got some other things going on there too. So, but for most part with this drawing, we're going to stick here with our floor plans just to generate this in the very beginning. So you want to be in level 1. So I am level 1, and now I'm going to go and create the external walls for this floor plan. And you guys should have your print that I provided to you. It's in Google Classroom. So we're going to go on and select wall. Notice this takes us into a different window when we've got lots of different things going on up here too. So, and we're going to start out with, so you see how we've got some different geometry aspects, some modify aspects, view, measure, create. Right now we're going to start with drawing. And I can start out by drawing a line that's going to represent my wall, or I can use a rectangle. And since we've got the outside of this as a rectangle anyway, we may as well just go ahead and use the rectangle tool. So I'm going to come down in here, someplace over here, it doesn't really matter. These are kind of like cameras. Kind of imagine those as cameras that are looking at each of the elevations or each of the views from the side. So I'm going to click this on the, and then we just put it up. And now at this point, I don't really have to do anything. I can just go ahead and click again. And so that now I see that I created a rectangle that measures 54 feet 6 inches by 35 feet 6. So not a big deal. So I'm just going to click and highlight this to bring it up. And now I'm going to change this to what my actual dimensions are, which aren't too far off from where we should be. So because our outside dimensions here measure 53 feet 4 inches. So, and I'll hit the enter key. So actually just kind of click out. Let's go here to the other one. What am I forgetting? So, oh, well, here's what I'm forgetting. So I got 53 feet, 4 feet. So I need to go 53 feet, 4 inches to get that in there and use the right language here. So now I can set this one, and on our print, we see that that actually measures 25 feet, 4 inches. So part of what we're doing here isn't just kind of learning how to draw these walls in Revit, but it's also designed to kind of give us a idea of how to read these prints while we're in there too. All right, so there's my external walls. Now I'm going to come up here to where it says 3D default 3D view, and I want you to left click on that. That opens up our 3D view window. Notice now we've got a couple of different windows open that we can look at. And this gives you an idea of just what your basic wall type looks like. Let's go back to level 1. And as you look, we were placing a basic wall generic that is 8 inches wide. So remember, your walls have some thickness to them, and that's why there's that double line to show what that thickness is. So I'm going to kind of highlight these again. So notice I just created a new one instead of highlighting. I've been working a lot with AutoCAD files too, so when you start to use a lot of these different software, you kind of get into some different clicks and just have to remind yourself what it is. So that kept drawing it because I was still in the draw wall command. So I have to exit out by clicking that. Now notice I'm going to go, and if I click on each one of these walls now, outside of the draw wall command, they're highlighted. So let me come back here. So if I hold the control button down at the same time, then I can click and select all 4 of those. Now let's change this from basic wall. Notice there's a drop down arrow. This gives us a bunch of different types of walls here too. So I'm going to, in this case, we're going to just select exterior CMU on MTL stud. Okay. And now let's go back into our 3D view and see what that looks like. So all right, now doesn't look like much has changed, but if you notice as we kind of go in and highlight things, so notice how we've got some detail here. All right, I'm going to come right down here to this where it says visual. And our visual style right now is hidden line. So if I click on that, let's go and let's click shaded. Now you kind of see we get some changes here. And next to that visual style shaded with edges is a detail level medium. I can also make that fine to get even more details. Okay, let's go back and let's click and see what realistic looks like. All right, so sometimes it takes a few seconds. Now, notice here's what realistic looks like. And these are going to kind of change depending on what our wall type is. So let's go ahead and do shaded. Now, I want to talk, notice here at this point, it looks like our bricks are, that is on the inside of that. And that's certainly what we don't want. So let's go back here to level 1 and let's talk about that. So now I'm just going to highlight that wall, notice, and there's these 2 arrows right here. And if you keep your cursor on it, it says change wall orientation. So I'm going to left click on that, put it on the outside, unselect that. Now let's toggle back over into our 3D here. So notice in order to do this now, in order to kind of pan around, I'm holding my shift and depressing the roller track at the same time. So, all right, so we need to go and fix all those walls and kind of change those to where they're going on the outside. So I'll just click each one, move those arrows to the other side. There we go. Now our exterior of the wall is actually facing the exterior of the building instead. Before it was facing the interior. So we've got that. Let's go ahead and add some other walls right now. We see on these interior walls, so I'm just going to go right back to my wall command, and in this case it is just going to be a line. And again, it doesn't matter at this point, I can just kind of grab where I want it. Now you do need to kind of watch here, because Revit, and this depends, and this is one of the things that you definitely want to plan for. So you can go center of the line, you can go from the outside of the wall, or you can go from the inside of the wall. And we got to take a look here at our wall, and our wall is dimensioned from the outside, so of this edge. So we're going to dimension it from here, so over to the center. Now, in order to do that, so it doesn't really matter at this point. So I'm just going to kind of drop my wall in place and get it positioned. So let's just start here. I'm going to go from the center here, and we're just going to draw that line all the way over to the center there. Okay. Now notice down here we get that dimension. So I'm going to kind of move that witness line so that it is on there. Oops, hang on. So all right, let me reselect this wall. All right, so my witness line is now moved over to there, exactly like it wanted to be. And let's change our dimensions here, which should be 10 feet, 8 inches. All right, so that readjusted. Now my witness line on this wall, according to my print, also needs to be moved over. So just grab that and get that highlighted. Again, I'm kind of in that command, so let's gotta watch and what we're grabbing here as we go and get that replaced if we can. So now, so that's given us a little dimension. Let's delete that out of there. I don't like that. So all right, so we got a couple of different dimensions going on here on this one now at this point. So well, I'm going to come back and fix that here a little bit later. So let's just, because I don't want to take too much time here on this, we'll just delete this out and redo that. All right, so go back to your wall. And I'm still learning how to do all this too, but we'll get there together. I'll grab that witness line, make that there. And now let's go back and change this again to 10 feet, 8 inches. Place it. Now we got another wall here. Let's go ahead while we're in the wall command. So we're modifying that wall right now. So escape out, go back into the wall, back to your line. So let's pick on the next one here. Okay, now notice in this case, you're given some other dimensions and it's kind of going back and forth with this. So we can go ahead and let's place our 10-foot, 8 inches here on this. Move that in, gives us that reference. Okay. Escape out of that. Place the next wall. Now we'll go from the other side here. So we'll get these in place. Move that witness line over. And this is going to be 16 feet 8 inches. Drop that. And then lastly, we have the other wall for the women's room. So let's go back now. Escape out, go back into our wall command here and get this one. All right, and change this dimension to the 10 feet 8 inches as well. I keep wanting to put feet instead of inches over there. I forget to hit my shift key, so you got to make sure that you're there with that. All right, now notice that leaves us with a total of 6 feet 1 7/8 inch there in the center for our mechanical room that we've got. And that's good for our basic walls now. Realize at this point we drew these lines for walls and they're back to the basic wall. So if we need to, we'll come back and change it. Let's go into our 3D view right now. So and now we have the 3 walls. So I'm gonna shift down here and kind of pan around so you can see what they are. Notice what it looks like here as we go. Let me go back into my level 1 detail, and instead I'm gonna of course exit out of my wall command. Let's select these. Remember, you hold down on the control button to do all these, and let's just go and make these we'll select these. These aren't going to be exterior, they're going to be interior, but we want to be a little bit more solid than interior. So let's go ahead and let's make these 6-inch masonry walls on there. And I'm going to go ahead too, and just so we can see rather how you can make changes on the fly as you go, I'm going to click on all of my exterior walls, and instead of that basic exterior wall, I'm going to go ahead and let's make this exterior brick and CMU on metal stud. We'll just do that for right now, just to kind of see the differences here. All right, escape out of it. Let's go out now. Now you kind of see the changes here that are coming across and being made, and how you got your, this is going to be a nice solid building out there when we start to make this. And that's the start. That's how we do our walls, and that will be enough for this video.